Okay, now moving on to Bipul. Looking at your reference, and I did see that you did another iteration of this before that looked awesome. And I love that you're taking the same scene but lighting it a different way. I often say that is one of the most effective ways of creating something for your reel and not needing multiple different scenes or assets, where you can take the same scene, the same animation if you want, and light it 3 different ways, 4 different ways, completely different moods, styles, and that would really show who you are showing your reel to, that you have diversity, but also you have the eye and the capability to tell your story through light. Tell the same story, well, sorry, not the same story, show the same exact asset, but portray it with the different moods, a totally different story, just by your lighting. So I think this is awesome that you're doing it. Taking a look at your reference, I know you said you were not matching it 1 to 1, and you were lifting the darks and whatnot. And I could totally see, and you added the moonlight. So I see that. And the one thing that I'll say, I don't know if you mentioned it, but I guess the moonlight would cool it off. But this one has much warmer light for the interior. I don't know if that was intentional. I like what's going on here. Your lights are also much more subtle. These are little candles. And I guess my first question when I'm looking at these shots is, one, I like the overall look of it, the mood, and I question, where is the main light coming from, this main source light? I assume it's like an overhead above here. So that's what I'm going to go with. And then these back here are just accents. And then we have this outside light coming in from this direction. I think overall, like if I was just to look at value shaping, it is looking nice. The biggest thing for me is right here, this character. Why can't I draw him? Oh, I'm on the eraser tool. This character right here, he feels a little bit dark right here in the front, where I'm losing his detail here. And he's almost going, like, I see, it's interesting. I know you lifted the darks compared to here, but at the same time, I'm feeling like the lift of darks in the background, but here, he's pretty dark. Like, it's very dark and contrasty compared to the background, let's say. So for me, in order to see this expression, I would want a little bit more fill right here in order to see that. Like his eyes are just going so dark. I want to read that expression. So if we could add a little bit more fill here, or maybe even play with the key light to see if you can catch a different angle. But look, I'm like just reading his fill. Why is his fill so much darker than his right here, right? And I'm wondering what the difference is. They're pretty much in the same space. You know, he's getting more of this outside light, but other than that, I don't see why there would be this darkness here if this guy didn't have it here. So I'm thinking about consistency. Also, both of them could use some eye work, this one especially. Let's go to a different shot. So this one, yeah, I feel like, you know, it's nice here. Again, eye work. I like to read that a little bit more. More on this side, because that's where the light's hitting. This one's just lifted up slightly. Same here. It's starting to feel a little dirty in the darks. And then this right here, I don't know what that is, but it's very distracting. It's like super bright. Kill it. I don't know what it is. I'm curious what that is, especially if this is moving, then that's going to be even more distracting. The other thing I'll say about this shot that I'm noticing is this background. It's feeling super flat to me and very CG. And the fact that like there's no detail there, and it's kind of like it looks repetitive, like it's part of a tiled texture or something. So that's where you want to add a little bit more realism to it, kind of like add some variation here, dirt, dust, you know, in the creases. All of that kind of extra detail really goes a long way. The other thing is you can also bring it a little bit darker too. Slightly darker, graded darker down here, and then up that way. So that will help back there with the flatness. Overall, also here, if I'm looking at the ground, I think this should go darker because I'm losing it. It's kind of just blending in here. So it'd be nice to have like a little bit of grounding there. I like these lights. I like how it kind of like catches the beams here. That's a really nice job. And the one thing, a question is, I wonder if this light here could be more directed, although it's not like we're going to move that window. So I'd like to see this moving to see how it plays out, since it is an animation, I believe. Going to this next frame, see, this eye work is nice. You see how it's like you get a little bit of reflection in there, kind of a subtle ding, you know. That is good. One thing I will say, I don't know what is going on here, if that's a texture, but all of a sudden I'm seeing like funny patch marks here. It's almost like little hearts. So look into that, if that's a texture. This guy here, he's totally getting lost. The one thing that's really nice in this shot, where he's in the extreme foreground, I'm still feeling him here. It's because he's getting hit with some of that outside light, and he's being popped out from the background a little bit. But in this one, we're not getting that same effect, right? He's kind of getting lost here. So it'd be nice to get some kind of lighting here, like maybe cheat this light that's here, wrap around, so then you can get him a nice, like, kind of soft, like a rim almost, to get him to read a little bit better. That's what I'd say for that frame. This frame, you know, it's the same shot from this one pretty much. Call it the same as shot, a little bit different, of course. But I'd say for this one, again, it's just being the eyes. I keep going to this eyes. This is all just feeling the same thing, like this muddied color to me, this muddied darkness. I'd be curious to see how it looks if it's more filled in like the other character. Again, seeing the background, I won't repeat myself, but these stairs, very CG, because like this is nice, the details here, like I'm seeing the little, you know, imperfections here on this bar. It feels more organic and real, where that does not. So you know what to do back there. So yeah, I think we've gone through every single one, and it's a great start. I can't wait to see it in action. So keep on going, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Next, we've got Holly. Oh, so Holly, I pulled up your reference, and you shared a video. So let me play this video. Okay. So here is your video. Let's do some pauses on here just to get a feel for it. And your reference is right here from this movie. I forgot about this movie. I used to love it. It was nice to see it, actually. The lighting is really nice here. So I know this has gone through several iterations. I am going to start fresh with my eyes. I did read the notes from the past, so I have a handle on that, but I do want to just kind of look at what your initial reference was and then go from there. So, okay, I'm taking a look. Okay, I'm looking at, the first thing I'm looking at is the color tone, like the warmth of this, and then I'm looking over here to yours. And that's the first thing that stands out, honestly, is like I'm not feeling any of these warm lighting tones in here. And when I say it's not like super warm, like let's say this warmth, right? But there is something nice about it. I think maybe it's like the wood that's helping with that too, but here it feels like super cool, just white. So that's one thing that I would first kind of look at if you want to create that kind of same feel, same tone effect on it. The other thing is, if you look at your reference, it's pretty soft, the lighting. And when I say the lighting, like, you're not getting like a very hard edge, really harsh, like a very hot highlight, let's say, like we're seeing right here, right? So I almost want to say, looking at this, I often don't ask this, but I want to see what the different lights are that are going on in this scene. I think the main light is coming from here, but then the question I have is, do you have other lights kind of filling in kind of the fill lights, the bounce lights and whatnot, because she is reading very dark and flat over here, almost like there's not really a light here, but most of light is only over there. So that's one of my questions, because this is like very contrasty, where if you look at your reference, there is contrast, but not nearly that much, right? So that is one thing I'll say. And then the other thing, yeah, like right here, look how hard that line, the light is here. It's super harsh. And strong is what I mean. It's very strong, but then it's also very neutral toned as well. And then the other interesting thing is, I'm seeing it really hard on the characters, but I'm not seeing it in the scene at all, that light. So I'm kind of confused on like where that light is coming from and why am I not seeing it in the scene. And I do remember here, like you were talking about popping the character off from the scene, and then coming back to integrate it with the scene now. And this is a prime example. Like, look at this frame. She is so lit here, but then the floor, there's nothing. There's no light hitting this floor, and you think if that light is hitting her so strongly, we would see this on the ground. So how about this? Since I'm starting fresh with you here, with new eyes, new point of view, I want you to take off all the light linking. If I'm assuming this light linking, start super simple, even a fresh scene, honestly, with just a key light, just like the main light, and let's get that tone and that directionality down. Share it with me, and what we want to see is maybe a key light, and I don't know how you're doing it, but like a key and a fill. Keep it super simple, right? Let's get the overall feel down, and then we can go from there without any like of the light linking or anything like this. And this is an exercise I often do, I'll be honest, especially when I'm working on something for quite some time. Sometimes it's really good to like take a break from it and then start fresh. You can always go back to this scene, keep it saved, but start a fresh one with me, and just no light linking. Let's play with getting that soft kind of key, softer key that integrates with the scene. and a fill. Whether you're using, I don't know if you're using a dome, it doesn't matter what you're using. Just get that kind of key fill ratio first down, and then we can go from there. Yeah, so I'm excited to see how it goes. I think that was it for this round. Thank you, everyone, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Happy lighting.